Oh, yeah. Oh, baby. It feels good.
Introducing the Ultimate Party Upgrade. Capture memories like never before with our 360 Experience Photo Booth package, now at an unbeatable price of just $150. But hurry, this incredible offer won't last forever. Book now and make your event unforgettable. Visit popshotsatl.com today. Details apply.
Hey, Dee. Hey, Dee, how are you? Hey, guys. I'd like to welcome you all to the Let's Talk About It podcast. This is your host, Skky, and I'm your host, Major. Dee's on mute right now, and I don't think that she realizes that she's on mute, guys. We're going to start the show off the right way. We love Dee Skky so much. I'm going to actually introduce Dee this go around, guys.
That is a great blooper. Oh my God. I love it.
It's quite all right, Dee. How are you today?
You know I'm silly, so I'm not gonna be able to hop off of this one.
Yeah,
That
I'm
is
gonna tell you like
hilarious.
this. You were giving it everything you had, though. I'm gonna tell you, I tell you, had we been able to hear you, Dee, I think we would have all been impressed. You were killing it. You were killing it. What's going on today?
What's happening, Major? Well, let me tell you my intro again. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 13 of Let's Talk About It with your girl, the DIDI double KY, Dee Skky. Gotta love it.
You know I'm gonna clip this.
I know you are. You're gonna blooper it to death.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Well, guys, of course, you know my sidekick, my co-host. I call him the voice behind the man behind the meme, the voice of God. Give it up for Major.
Yo. What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for tuning in today. This is going to be one heck of a show. It's already starting off on a high note. I'm super highly entertained.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
And today's show is brought to you by Sickle Cell Awareness 5K Run, presented by a few good fellas of Gwinnett. And here with us tonight are a few of the good fellas. Let's hear it for Kelly and Sean.
Hey, Dee, how you doing?
Hey.
So let's see. We have Kelly Littlejohn and Sean. Do we have them on?
We are
right here.
Okay, there's Sean and there is Kelly. All right, awesome.
All right.
Hi guys, how are you doing?
Fine, doing great.
Fine.
Yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. Did y'all see that blooper in the beginning?
Yeah, we saw you turned up. Yeah,
I was live with it, right?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
You turned up.
Well, you're here for an awesome cause. Kelly, September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month. Tell us, what is sickle cell and why is this cause important to you?
Sickle cell is a blood disease. So what it is our blood cells are circular shaped. And kids with sickle cell disease, it's just like a sickle, like on a farm or a half moon shape. So what happens is that the blood it goes through the veins like say a traffic jam, right? And in that area where that bud gets stuck, it's really, really painful for a kid who has sickle cell disease. So it's special to me because my son, he has sickle cell disease. He's 21. He'll be at the walk as well. But our main thing, our topic is know your trait. So what happens is that when I was on the police department in Detroit back in 1988, I gave blood, but I never found out what sickle cell trait was when the Red Cross sent me, said I can't give blood anymore. So now my thing is that I was ignorant to the fact of not trying to see what's going on, ask his mother if she had sickle cell trait. So if both the male and the female have sickle cell trait, it's a 1 in 4 chance that they'll have a kid with sickle cell disease.
Right.
Now, Kelly's sister doesn't have sickle cell disease, but she has sickle cell trait. So now my main thing is that I owe it to my son to educate, other people about sickle cell trait, sickle cell disease, and whether or not they can make a rational decision, whether or not if both parties have the trait, whether or not they want to have kids or not, take that chance, or if they don't know they have the trait, we have Life South that's going to test people to see if they have the trait to let them know, because it's like a 1 in 25, like 1 out of 25 African Americans don't know they have sickle cell trait. So that's why it's important. That's why it's important to me.
Okay. And it's just, we, with knowledge, we have power. And so, providing this information, because it is something really that we don't speak on, we're not asking those questions, what is your sickle cell trait? Like, that's typically not something that we inquire about when we meet someone new. I have sickle cell in my family. I've had cousins who have had it, and close family members who have had it as well. So I'm very familiar with sickle cell, but guess what? I've never been tested for the trait. I'm definitely going to take care of that when I attend this walk. Sean, tell us about the walk this weekend.
So the 5K walk is a walk, a walk, run, or bike. We wanted kids to be able to participate in the event, so kids are able to ride their bikes around the trail, and kids are included in it, so families don't have to pay for their kids to come out. But it's a family event. We'll have games for kids. From tug of war to sack races. There's all kind of food we're going to provide for families. There's ice cream, there's music. The mayor of Snellville will be there. It's just a really, really, really big event. Yeah. And so we're really excited about it so that people can know about the trait. It's something that we want to do for the community because it's really important. And it's important to be able to help out sickle cell is something that really impacts families. And so we want to make sure that we're bringing awareness, and a run walk was a great way to be able to do it.
Absolutely. And Kelly, can you remind everyone how they can join the walk, where the walk is going to be, the address, and if there is a website, if they wanted to register, can you tell them about that?
Yeah, it's at Briscoe Park in Snellville, Georgia. So you can go to Eventbrite. It's a QR code on the flyer that you have. They can link up off of there. We have a page, Few Good Fellows, on Instagram, Few Good Fellows on Facebook. It's on Sean's page, is on my page. And then what Sean didn't tell you is that this is like the first of many community events that we're planning. So we hope to be back on for our next big adventure that we're planning. So this is not the first time you're going to see us. You're going to definitely see a lot of us coming up. And my cousin always say, if not us, then who?
That's right.
So
that's right.
So if not us, then who's going to do it? So.
Well, thank you both for being those good fellas that are helping to spread the word on and about sickle cell awareness. So thank you all. And I look forward to seeing you guys this weekend. And thank you for inviting Let's Talk About It to be one of your sponsors. So thank you so much. I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Absolutely. See you this weekend.
All right. Take care.
Yes, make sure that you go and check out the Sickle Cell 5K. As Sean said, it's a walk, it's a run. You can ride your bike. They will have testing on site for you to find out your trait if you have the sickle cell trait. So make sure that you go and check them out. It's going to be so good. The weather is expected to be really nice. So go out and support this sickle cell month. Learn all about it and share it with your family and friends. It's going to be awesome and amazing. And congratulations to Kelly and Sean for producing this event. Well, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are watching us right now on Facebook, I don't want you to go right now, but after the show is over, hop on over to our YouTube channel and like, share, and subscribe, because we have all of these bonus shows. We have these wonderful programs lined up for you, and we give away stuff too. So you don't want to miss any of it, all of which Major can never be a part. Okay. So yeah, we want to make sure that we give those things away so Major does not try to take it from you. So woo, y'all, I'm excited about tonight. I am extremely excited about my guest tonight. First of all, I heard that, Major. First of all, she doesn't do lives. Okay. This is a very special exclusive that she is bringing to the Let's Talk About It platform. But we're getting ready to have the conversation about sex. So put the babies to bed. If it's not time for them to go to sleep, put them in the room or put on your AirPods so that you can talk back to us. You want to hear all of this because it's going to be so good. And we want you to interact with us as well. Our featured guest tonight was recently on OWN's Love and Marriage DC. Put the kids away, as I said, and get ready to talk about sex with an expert. Let's hear it for Jenifer Smith.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
Hi.
I'm good. Oh, you're muted again, Dee Dee.
On mute. I think Major put me on mute that time. He's trying to get me. He's gonna just run it in the ground. How you doing, Jenifer?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I am wonderful. I am so excited to have you on the show with us tonight. But before we get started, tell everyone what makes you an expert in sex, couples, and relationship therapy so they know that we have the real deal with us tonight.
Well, that's a great question. Well, I spent a lot of money to go to school. Let's start with the credentials first. I have a double master's in marriage and family therapy and mental health from Barry University in Miami, Florida. I went and got a sex therapy certification, and I've been doing this work for 10 years. So I have led a lot of different workshops, counseled thousands of people over my career, and studied. I like to go and really talk to other experts or those that are living these different lifestyles that I do workshops on, so that I am giving full, the full picture to my clients, but anyone that asks questions, I like to be completely informed.
Yes, I absolutely love it. And of course, I have followed you in your journey in terms of on your social media page. And I have also seen you on a few of those talk shows and on Love and Marriage DC, which was really interesting. So
it's a very different experience doing reality TV.
Yes. So let's hop on in. I am ready. I'm ready to start.
Okay.
You?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. let's talk about self-pleasuring.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to start with me. I'm going to
Okay.
start with myself. I'm going to be the guinea pig. Is it weird that I'm not into self-pleasuring? Like I'm someone who has, like, I need the touch of a person. Like I'm someone that, not to say that I haven't, but just,
You just don't
it's
prefer it.
not something I don't prefer it. I would prefer to have a physical body. Is that something that you find, or is it typically that people are more interested in learning more about their bodies?
Yeah, I would say it's like 50-50. First, I want to normalize that it's not weird. It's your body. You can do whatever you want with it. But it's not weird. You know, it's very split. I hear in therapy, a lot of people prefer the physical touch with another person. And then a lot of other people, they like to masturbate regularly. So it is a bit of a split. So I can't say that it's one way or the other, but I do think that it's worth exploring. Right? Because when you take the time to really be in a great space with your own body, it does make you a better lover. It does help increase your orgasms. It does. Doing pleasure mapping is really helping you identify what part of your body arouses you. What parts do you not really like? It doesn't get aroused at all, or what parts of your body you like to be touched more, or what type of touch you like in certain areas. So there's a lot of benefits to actually masturbating to be able to identify some different things about your body. But, you know, to each their own. People are free to do what they want, but I think there's a lot of benefits to masturbating.
Right. You said something that just, I don't know if you saw my reaction. Did you say pleasure mapping? Was that what you said?
Yes. Pleasure mapping is, it's a tool that people, sex coaches or sex therapists, help people identify different parts of your body where you feel the most pleasure. And so it's going literally from your head all the way down to your feet to be able to identify the different parts of your body that really are pleasurable. And that changes over time. Sometimes it changes with partners, but that's the benefit of taking the time to do it.
Absolutely. Roxana says, I think that, put that back up, Major, for me. I think that exploring allows you to help someone else please you.
100%, Roxana.
Right.
Thank you. Yes, it does.
Yes.
Because you're really able to give somebody else the roadmap to your own pleasure. Because if we wait, right, until we have someone else to be intimate with in order for us to get aroused or to pleasure, right, that can, we lose a bit of a time with ourselves. We lose this desensitization of like, I like to be touched and I don't want to have to wait for somebody else to feel pleasure.
Right.
So it is very important to be able to be in that space with yourself so that when you do meet somebody, you're like, actually, I don't really like being choked. I really like actually being caressed, or I really enjoy getting my ass smacked versus having it, you know,
licked.
Like, yeah, like, I mean, you have to be able to give people the roadmap. But I do find that a lot of women are resistant to wanting to give somebody that much direction.
Right. Yeah. Because I don't know. Is that something with, like you said, not necessarily, that's one of my questions. I'm going to save that one for later, because that is one of my questions on how do you explain to someone the things that you like without necessarily hurting their feelings. But I'm going to come back to that one.
Okay.
Is there a difference between sex, love making, and intimacy?
Yes.
Tell us.
Yes. Okay. So intimacy doesn't just have to be sex related. There is physical, I mean, there's emotional intimacy, mental, intellectual, like there's all different forms of intimacy. So that's quite different than love making, right? Or having sex. Sex and love making very much are still focused on the physical. Right. And so some people identify love making as something slower, something more sensual, something that you do when you have somebody that you're in love with or care a lot about. Right. And then people define sex in a lot of different ways. But I think it is important to identify what all of those things mean to you. How do you define it? and whoever your partner is, asking them, how do they define it? Because that is very important of how you will interact as lovers or partners, of how the other person interprets those three different like areas. Very
Right.
important. That communication is key to actually seeing like if you're compatible.
Right. So there is a such thing as not being sexually compatible.
Absolutely.
Right. So you can have all of those kind of key elements. You can be equally yoked in your careers, in your drive for success, or whatever that may be. But when it comes to your intimacy or your sex or whatever, there's a possibility that you don't have that. Is there a way to get that?
Yes. Communicating. You have to communicating. Two, you have to be willing to work at it. A lot of times people fall short in those two areas. They just like, I just want it to be easy. I don't want to have to work at it. And I'm like, life doesn't work that way, right? Relationships don't work that way. So you have to communicate, but also be willing to work on it. And part of being willing to work on it is being open, being receptive, right? And being able to be honest with your partner. I think what you said a couple of minutes ago of like, how do I tell somebody how to pleasure me without hurting their feelings? It shouldn't hurt their feelings. It's how you feel. It's what pleasures you, what feels good for you. And again, it's a dialogue. It's not saying that we're committing to doing this particular act. I'm telling you what I like. And if you say, I don't really like to do that, then what's the compromise? Where are we in the middle? Because everything about intimacy it can be negotiated. If you feel like you can't be open with your partner or your lover about how you're feeling or what you want to do, then that might not be the partner for you if you can't be that vulnerable with them.
Wow. One of the things that, and I'm about to put him Major on the spot, is he says that when he started to research you, he was totally in shock because of course your demeanor is just very glam and wholesome.
I would not combine those two things on me, but okay, but thank you.
But when she started talking like so candidly and open about sex, I was just blown away.
Yeah.
So do you find that when you are, there he is, you have something to say, Major?
Yeah, I can't believe you put me on the spot like that, dude. Yeah, I did say that. Yeah, when I saw your picture, first of all, your picture looks so unassuming. So I did not expect the words that came out of either one of your mouths to come out of either one of your mouths. So yeah.
I mean, what do people that talk about sex look like? I mean,
I don't know. I guess I don't know. I guess that's a great question.
That's
a great question. And so, like one of the questions that I did have, especially for someone like you who's unassuming, like, do people ever assume once they find out, and because you're a sex therapist, that like you might also be a lady of virtue or like a strumpet, or does that ever happen to you? Like,
Yeah, that happens more than I would like. A lot of people, yes. So it's like two sides of it. People, yes, take me as like I look very wholesome, which I'm like, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. Or like, how do you look wholesome, right? But people think I look so wholesome, and they're like, oh, like you're just, very nice, and you're a therapist, and you help people, and that's great. But as soon as I start like, oh yeah, I host blowjob classes, they're like, whoa, hold on, I didn't expect that, and I'm like, well, what do those people look like? I mean, it's okay. Like we have to normalize that anybody that looks a certain way can teach something, talk about something, right? But in relationships, a lot of times actually when I've met guys and I say I'm a sex therapist, they get intimidated. And
I was going to ask you that. Yeah.
They get intimidated, and a lot of times don't want to date a therapist because either they have not worked on themselves, or they feel like, oh, you're gonna try to therapize me, like you're gonna try to diagnose me. I very quickly tell them I don't diagnose unless I'm getting paid.
I
So
know. Yes, exactly.
I have no desire to diagnose you. But yeah, I've been with people that were intimidated, and I thought like I would be critiquing them sexually. So some partners I never even had sex with. We just
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
dated and never had sex. So
Never happened.
it's gotten very weird over the years.
I'm sure. I'm sure. One of the things that I wanted to inquire about was, like you just said, normalizing sex and our sexuality and our, do you believe that what does that shift look like now? Are people more willing because of technology and social media? Do you find that we're talking about it more? Are people being more honest about what they want now, or just because of the heightened awareness of sexuality and women's rights, and women are kind of standing up for themselves and saying, hey, this is what I like, this is who I am. You're seeing it a lot more. What do you believe about that?
Yeah, I think that we have made a lot of progress in normalizing, but I still think we have a lot of work to do to normalize other things. But I think we have made a lot of progress. The conversation just around people going to therapy has been so transformative. The pandemic really made therapy a household name, right? Now people will be shocked if you don't have a therapist. So like for those reasons, I'm very grateful. But even just talking about going to see a sex therapist, that's becoming more normal, or sex coaching, or going to workshops about how to ride, trying different positions, or getting, how to learn how to give a blowjob. Like there's so many different types of workshops now that are so normalized for people. And now people are like, I'm going with my girlfriends, or I'm going by myself. Or in one of the blowjob classes that I hosted, I had a grandmother, a mother, and a daughter.
Oh,
so I'm like, listen, that's normalizing for me. We then made it 3 generations.
Exactly. Wow.
Normalizing it for me of we are breaking the stigma that we can talk about these things, right? Because I think there's so much to learn from other people. But sex is a topic that's ever evolving. You can never not learn enough, right, about sex. And so why just stop? Right? Just talking about it or learning about it. Like, let's teach other generations about it, and really normalize talking about sex. And I think even in Black households, sex has been such a taboo topic that a lot of people did not talk about, didn't have any sex education, or they signed their kids out of school, so they didn't get it at school. And so it's like, well, where does this sex education come from at some point? Right? Like, how do you learn? And so I'm glad that now we can normalize having those conversations earlier, right? As kids are at the elementary age, right? Age appropriately telling and educating people about sex. And then as an adult, we are very open and candid in different conversations with friends, partners, classes, therapists. I'm glad that it's becoming more normalized in conversation.
Absolutely. Let's hop on over here to the blowjob classes that you give.
Very hot topic.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So I recently had a guest on who stated that he learned how he was a trans man, and when he was still living his life as a woman, he learned how to give the best blowjobs ever, that he would put his partners to sleep. And so I was like, well, you need to give me some class. How are you knocking them out? Like, you are knocking them out. So what are your top tips on giving the best blowjob?
And let me just preface. So I started doing this workshop with a friend of mine whose name is Linnea Marie, and she's a sex health educator. And we came together and put this class together because we were getting so many women coming into sessions talking about that they were being forced to give blowjobs, or they really didn't like it. They didn't enjoy it, but they were doing it with their partner. So we wanted to put together a curriculum that really empowered women to be able to go in there to teach them technique, just tips to make it more enjoyable or pleasurable, but also finding out ways that they had a lot of control in that scenario, and that it wasn't just about the male-centered pleasure.
Right.
So some of the tips that we do in the class that is, I think, really game changers is, one, identifying the reasons why you're going to enjoy it, right? Like, what is it that you really enjoy about? Is it pleasuring your partner, hearing them moan, hearing seeing their body change, right? Like feeling the heat come from their body, like finding ways to feel connected of why you're doing it, right? Two, I think using lube is a game changer. So a lot of, actually, the lube I usually use, I just happen to have some here. I use Wicked, which is a vegan-based lubricant. And so it's safe to go from oral to intercourse. Being able to use a flavored lube creates more saliva, which makes it a lot easier to give a blowjob, and it makes everything glide a lot easier for you to give a good hand job while giving a blowjob. Yes. So I think like those tips for sure of being able to use lube, hand job, and feeling connected to like why you're doing it. Those are some of the tips I would definitely refer people to.
Yes. And so you also mentioned how to ride. Give us a quick tip on those, the best maneuvering to ride.
Well, one, you got to communicate with your partner in both of these scenarios, riding and giving a blowjob, talking to your partner to see what they actually enjoy.
Okay.
Because not every penis owner is going to enjoy being rode. It really depends on like their penis shape, penis size. That may not be pleasurable for them. So you want to talk to them about that first. And then being able to find what makes you feel comfortable. Because if you're not comfortable, you're not really going to enjoy it. So what some people prefer to ride on a harder surface, so like a floor or a couch where they have like more grip to hold the back of the couch, or the floor where they can put their feet flat on there and they have more traction to actually bounce up and down. And finding a pace that works for you and your partner is very important while riding, because you can actually fracture the penis if you ride it hard or move in a different position.
What? Really?
Yes.
I've never heard of that you could fracture the penis.
Yes.
I thought it was flexible. Like you could really.
It's still a muscle, so you can still tear muscles in there. Yes.
Wow.
So you want to be careful, because the point is to not hurt your partner. It's supposed to be a pleasurable experience on both parts.
Absolutely.
So you want to make sure that you're finding a pace that works for both of you. For sure. But there's lots of sorry.
Go ahead. Oh no, I don't want to stop you. Go ahead.
There's lots of different riding techniques. It's kind of hard to describe it without showing you, and I'm definitely not going to show you today.
Right.
But there's lots of great workshops. Tayomi does a great one. Ask Goody does a good one. Like some of these other sex health educators in the community, put on some great workshops in person and virtual to teach you really great techniques. So I suggest taking one of their workshops.
Absolutely. So listen, guys, I know you have comments out of the woodworks happening here. So we're going to put them up. Roxana says, do you feel that self-pleasure has to be full of masturbation, or could the act of getting to know your body be a lead-in?
Oh, I love this question.
That's a good question.
I 100% believe that it can be like a lead-in. It does not have to be full on masturbation at all. Because you may already have that part down, right? And it's really about like exploring the other parts, because a lot of people skip the steps of desire and arousal before you get to actually having intercourse. Or masturbating. So you want to be able to work and trigger those erogenous zones of desire and arousal. So I think just being able to touch your body or explore different things, or it might just be watching something, or trying different things. A lot of different, as I've talked to people more about masturbation in the last few months, people have tried doing it, just touching themselves in the shower. It's not full on masturbation, but just touching themselves, caressing themselves,
Right.
Massaging different parts of your body, just exploring different elements that can arouse you, but you just haven't taken the time to explore it.
Right. Does size matter?
Well, I haven't been asked this question in a long time. It depends on the person. It depends on the person. I mean, some people. When I've talked to and done lots of workshops with women, I mean, this is definitely a topic of conversation. But again, everybody has their, if you are in a heterosexual relationship, a lot of women have their own preference of what the perfect penis is. So that, so those are more conversations for sure that happen of, does size matter?
Right.
I think everybody has their ideal size, but again, I think it's more about the connection and being sexually compatible.
Right.
There's a lot of different things you can do if that person's penis is not what you desire or not up to your size standard, right? So I think it's more about the connection and the energy than size. But there's definitely some people I know for sure that hold people to a standard.
Right. 16 inches long. That was my Miami voice, Uncle Luke.
I actually did bring a dildo that's pretty, it's a big size. And so a lot of women say they want something like this, but then when that lover actually shows up, they're like, never mind, I don't want that. So women say they want a big dick, but then when you get one, you're like,
you're like, I was just playing. Never mind. You have to just sit in this platinum at that, baby.
Yes. And this is actually this is a porn star. This is King Noir's dildo. So yeah, women say they want a big one, but then when they get it, they're like, never mind, I'm good.
Wait, repeat that now. You said that is actually a replica of a porn star's penis?
Yes. His name is King Noir.
Child,
you can follow him on Instagram. You can find all his videos on Royal Fetish Films.
Yes, I'm running from that too, girlfriend. Major, what was the last question that was put on the screen? I couldn't catch it fast enough. That is so interesting. I absolutely, Roxana is funny. Yes, that was platinum in humongous. If I had $1 for every time someone asked you if size matters, would I be able to afford therapy sessions?
You'd be able to afford therapy for like 6 months. Like it's insane.
Absolutely.
Yeah, how many times? Yeah,
but I certainly agree to what you're saying, that, and particularly, I don't know, and this is just me speaking. As we age, we mature, we realize what we really enjoy and why, making sure that we enjoy the experiences as well. I think we look for those things more so than size. We, for me personally, I look for other things like you said, the connection, how we make each other feel, and all of these other things. So, I think that's certainly very important. Rachel is here as well. What's up, Rachel? I see Brandy is in the house. Shouts out to Levi as well. So let me ask you this. Speaking on relationships, I'm going to mix it up a little bit as it relates to relationships and sex. So there was a video trending, I don't know if you saw it, of a wife who discovered that her husband had been cheating. And she actually came up with a plan. She told him, okay, since we're out here cheating and you out here in these streets, how about we're going to stay married. We're going to raise these kids. We're going to continue to get money together. But you're going to see who you want to see, and I'm going to see who I want to see. And we're just going to do it like that, because if it's okay for you to go out and cheat, then why shouldn't I be able to do so? And so that thing, and his response was like, what? Like, he was like, oh, you tripping. And so I've heard so many conversations and so many different levels about that video. I wanted to get kind of your take on that, on the relationship and how in a marriage, why it's so difficult typically for a man to be cheated on, but then they accept, they want the kind of the forgiveness if it's the other way around. Does that?
Yeah, so I didn't see that actual clip. So was the result she was asking for like an open relationship or ethical non-monogamous relationship? Is that what she was asking for? And
yeah, she was pretty much saying, yeah, we're gonna have an open, we're gonna stay married, but we're gonna don't bring me home any diseases. These are, what I'm requesting of you. Don't do any of these things, but I'm going to see other people because you were seeing other people. So
yeah, I think that it becomes toxic when people go into I'm now going to hook up with other people because you did. Like, that's not the intention of an open relationship, right? That should not be the motive for it. I really think that people that have went through infidelity, it's beneficial to come to therapy, because you do really need a third party to be able to help navigate those difficult conversations of not the act itself, but what led up to that person stepping outside of the relationship to seek other affection, And so I think it is really important for people to have those dialogues and really work through that before they make the decision to open it up to an open relationship or an ethical non-monogamous relationship. And it's interesting because a lot of people I do see in therapy of they just stay in the marriage for the kids. And I always kick it back to them and say, if this was your kid in a marriage like this, is that what you would want for them?
Right.
Because that is exactly what you're modeling for them. You can stay together and still be able to provide this 2-parent household and 2-income household. But what are they seeing on the day-to-day as far as communication, as far as affection, right? How are they seeing that y'all are navigating things as a family? Because a lot of kids will grow up to be in that same type of relationship that you gave them as an example. So I do think it's really important for people to talk about what they're in that scenario, it didn't even sound like she asked for consent for that to happen.
No, she just
told them.
She just put it out there and was like, this is what it's going to be. So, yeah.
And that creates even more toxicity in the relationship,
right?
Because the motives are with ill intention.
Yeah, exactly. What did love? Is it love child? She said, yes, she wasn't asking. No, she wasn't. She definitely was not asking. And so when you mentioned open relationships, what are the dynamics of these like open relationships? I've seen there's so many different types of relationships in the titles of these relationships. So the open relationships, the swingers, the multi-amorous. What was the other one that you mentioned? Polyamorous. Give us what is an open relationship and what is a polyamorous relationship?
Yeah. So an open relationship is where the people in that relationship can identify different ways that they'd like to be open. It doesn't have to be anything sexually related. It could be something of just, I want to be able to go out on dates with other people, or I want to be able to just interact with other people, just to have that time of connection. But again, everybody is different. Everybody has different ways of having an open relationship that can cross over to sex. But again, those are terms that are discussed and agreed upon within the people that are in that particular relationship. In a polyamorous relationship, that is a more of a commitment of the relational relationship between all parties involved in that relationship. So if two people are in a relationship and they decide that one person wants to bring in somebody else, we are now poly. But that is an agreement between all parties involved that we are in a committed relationship. And even in polyamorous, there's a whole lot of different terms and breakdowns. There are so many different facets to it. Can be overwhelming for people. So, I know that there's a lot going on right now. A lot more people are being curious about polyamorous or open relationships, but it happens a lot of different ways. But the biggest part is being open, communicating, and having consent with all parties before moving forward with anything. But polyamorous, it's really about the relationship between all parties involved. And there's different types of poly too. So sometimes you can be in a relationship there's two people in a relationship. One person might decide, okay, I want to bring somebody else in as a girlfriend. And those two people may have a relationship and she may never see the other partner. She may never do anything. But then there's some poly relationships where all three people are doing things together.
Okay.
There's all different types. I see them a lot in therapy. But everybody has to find what really works for them. And again, it goes back to like the intentions of what is it about this lifestyle? Do I like? Do I enjoy? What am I hoping to learn? Or, like you have to really take the time to explore it, I think, before really deciding to commit to it, because there is a lot of other elements involved that people have to take into consideration. It's more than just having like that badge of honor of like, I got two girlfriends or I got two boyfriends, right? Like there's a whole lot of other communication that has to happen in order for those relationships to be successful.
Right. So Major is asking, ladies, how many of you would be interested in having a poly relationship? And if you are, comment below. I also saw Roxana say that she was actually in one for a while. So that was interesting. She said it was challenging
for some of them.
Yeah, she said it was challenging to navigate and openly communicate for some of the parties involved. I can imagine.
It does get challenging because most people are not great communicators. So
exactly.
So and to then open it up to be in a poly relationship or you're exploring, like your communication has to be stellar. Like it has to be top tier for sure, because there's a lot of personalities, feelings, emotions, a lot of different elements to take into consideration. So you have to be ready to come in and be a great communicator. And if you're not yet, then that might be something to work on before you decide to dip your toe in that pool or commit to it fully.
Let's talk about swingers.
Okay.
So I know people who are swingers.
Okay.
And it is like a community of people. Like they hang out together. You would never know it. They are
they look wholesome. They look like wholesome people.
They look very wholesome, very unassuming, high tiered, careers.
Yeah.
But I've also seen some of the swingers reality shows, some of the shows that are on TV about swinging lifestyle, right? And what I find to be interesting is that in what I saw, in this one little thing, and even in having conversations with my swinger friends, typically it's the men that's leading the swinging, right? And it's more of the women, more than one woman kind of between that, or that it's not a lot of, or it's the man kind of putting you with the person that he kind of wants you to be with. Like I didn't see where the woman had the opportunity to really say, oh, I would like to be with that person, because then it seemed as though, that could be like a really direct connection. And so I've seen this, like I said, I've heard it personally and I've seen it on that show. And I'm like, well, how is that fair? And how is that swinging then? If you're able to swing, then you should be able to swing both ways.
100%. There's still a lot of rigidity in women being able to be sexually free or liberated to speak about what they want, what they desire, or even who they desire to be with. And that's something, again, like what we were talking about normalizing, that's still something we are so far behind on, that needs to be normalized, that women can be sexually free and liberated, and they can be able to be with whomever they want and should not have judgment pushed upon them because of it. So that's definitely something I still see for sure as well. But you're right. The communities they're pretty tight knit. And I think it's different communities. You can see that the women are actually more the power players. It's just about finding those communities to be able to see it. I do think that a lot of times some of these shows definitely hold on to the old social norms of that, and that's what they feel more comfortable with. And it's interesting because even with the labels, sometimes if they have different things where women are more what they call provocative, right? She's a hoe, or she's a madam, or she's, they put her in these different roles but if it's a man, they're, like he's a bachelor, he's
right?
he's a playboy, he's a leader, it's
Exactly.
like they're doing the same thing. Why are we putting these words and labels on her? Again, we're not normalizing that quite yet, but I think we're making some progress, but again, we still got a lot of work to do there.
Well, I can say that you are certainly helping to normalize the thought process behind sexuality, our desires, what we see, what we believe. Like, you are a part of the change that's happening because you're standing in the forefront and teaching and speaking and being there, that spokesperson for us. And so I thank you for that. That is, awesome. You and your wholesome looking self, your beautiful wholesome self.
Absolutely wholesome. I really agree with that. So I'm really like really trying to wrap my mind around what you're saying. Like, women can be sexually liberated, and we have to normalize that conversation. Like Roxana said, and to your point, when an athlete wants to improve on their performance, oftentimes they will review their footage. So would you please advise our audience that sometimes something as simple as a little bitty sexy sex tape can be a tool to enhance intimacy? You know what I'm saying? Like, can we just advise them that it can just be a tool and that it doesn't have to be something that
I'm not going to sign off on
you know
that
what I'm saying?
I'm not going to sign off on that.
Jenifer said, absolutely not.
I'm not, because I can't sign off on sex tapes because, one, too many people are using revenge porn. Right? Like, and actually I'm a victim of revenge porn. So yeah. So I can't sign off on that because you don't know how those things will be used later. Right? Like, critiquing, sure. But you could still critique or make, I don't even like critique, but you can still talk about how to improve things just talking, like afterwards, or well, not directly afterwards, but like having a conversation either before or after about, like what you enjoyed, what you'd like to do differently, how to, I really liked it when you did this, not so much of that, but like this, really having more conversation about it. So you can still do that without being taped. Some people don't really enjoy it. They don't like being on camera, or they don't want to watch themselves on camera, which is okay. But I do think a lot of people, do tape without consent, which is a big thing. And that's actually how I found out I was taped and didn't know about it. For a whole year until that person sent me the tape later because he was hoping we could recreate it. And I was like, are you an idiot?
God.
You didn't know my consent. You think I'm gonna help you reenact?
Did you have that person arrested? Did you have that person arrested? Please say yes.
I did not have that person arrested, only because of the complexity of the relationship. But I took matters into my own hands and had I had the tape erased. So, and disposed of. So,
Wow.
but
Was
again,
that
like,
a part of your power in this industry in terms of speaking out and about it? Did it help you, kind of catapult what you're doing? And the fact, like you said, we're normalizing, we're communicating about it, and rather than being shamed or embarrassed, I'm going to speak out and speak about, sexuality and sex and intimacy and relationships. Was that something that helped you?
yeah, I mean, and this happened way before I was a therapist. So it definitely helped because I was able to empathize for sure with other people who had gone through it or was going through it, especially when they were coming to therapy. And so it made me more of an advocate, especially when I'm talking to a lot of people that are meeting new lovers or dating someone new, and you go to their home. I didn't know because this person, they had their laptop open. You don't think much about it, but the screen was dark. So I didn't think about being recorded. But now, like, there's so many things with Ring cameras and, and Alexas and things like that can record, and you don't even know that you're being recorded.
Absolutely.
So I do think it's important for people to just be conscious when you're going to someone's house or you're in someone's bedroom to look around, identify things for yourself, and if you don't feel comfortable going to that person's house, invite them to your place then, so that you have full control over what the actual environment is.
That's right. I love that. And thank you for sharing that and for being so authentic in that story. What are some of the tips to share your desires with your partner? Now, whether it's a new relationship, or it's a relationship that you've been in for some time, but you've just never really, or you could be growing sexually, because we can grow sexually. How do you share that with your partner?
It's just creating the space of having a conversation. I actually, when I'm working with couples, I ask them to create the space. So whether it's a date night, where you want to have that dialogue, you can set it up whatever way which you all feel comfortable talking, right? Some people like to do it when they're just, kind of like pillow talk at night, or, they're actually out on a date, or they're doing something where they feel really comfortable. That's the most important, being comfortable in that space for both of you. But just bringing it up of, there's some things I want to talk to you about so that we can grow together or improve our intimacy, or share some things that's changed about my body that I think you should know about. Like being able to find some different ways to express it that make you feel really comfortable, but allow you to be really honest. Because the other person is going to take whatever you say, however they're going to take it. It's important for you to be able to really articulately express yourself so that your partner knows what your needs are, right? And also how you want to grow together and explore together, because that's going to increase the intimacy for sure. But I think it's really important for people to not be afraid to go to that space. A lot of times in therapy, I hear people afraid to be that open and communicative with a new partner because of the way somebody else treated them when they were open with them.
Right.
You have to give people a chance to meet you where you're at. Don't want to keep punishing them for the way somebody else talked to you or treated you, or shamed you, because that happens a lot sometimes when people express how they're feeling, especially if you've been in a relationship for a long time. You're like, I'm growing sexually and I want to explore this together. And they're like, so who you been fucking? Like,
right.
Exactly. You want to start using toys and we ain't used toys
all
ever.
of a sudden.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
You have to be willing to start exploring those conversations to see where it goes, right? But be intentional about creating the space for it.
Okay, love that. And before you go, Jen, can you give us some of the top toys, or what are some of the things, like you just showed us Mr. Silver Long Dong right there. What are some of the other, like, very notable kind of toys that for women and for men that have been, popular, or that you use when teaching your classes?
Yeah. So I know a lot of people love the rose, like that's like a fan favorite. The rose is not my favorite toy. I mean, shocker to a lot of people, but it's just not my favorite because one, I like to use products that are more similar in the shape of a penis. So a rose is not going to do it for me. Like I like to stick to what is the anatomy. That just helps me get more aroused. So I actually like and share with people the Destiny. It's a beautiful toy. It's very soft. It has 3 different functions. So the whole piece vibrates. This part sucks and it licks. It has a tongue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So each part of it, you know, it's vibrating, it sucks, it licks, and it's very intense. Each part has 10 settings.
Each part has 10 settings?
Each part has 10 vibration settings, suck and lick. So it's very aggressive. And this is going to get the job done in more than one way.
I love that.
And it's fun to use with a partner or by yourself. So the Destiny was one of my go-tos.
Yes.
For couples, I really love, I actually can't remember what the name of this one is, but it's by Satisfier, which is a big sex toy brand. And this is a vibrator that goes in your panties. So this magnet part clips to the inside. So you want to put it in your panties like this. This part will stick in between your panties so it holds it in. And then you can turn it on right here. And it has a remote
control. Ooh, can you imagine going out on a date with that and your partner is control?
Yes. Date night game changer, okay? And for my couples that work from home, this makes working from home a lot more fun and interesting because you can get it started before y'all even get to the bedroom, which is some really great foreplay. The thing I love the most about Satisfier toys, they are all Bluetooth accessible. So Satisfier has an app, so you can control on your phone how intense the vibration is, the pulse pattern, when it's on and off. Like it's really fun. So I highly recommend this for couples. And then if people really want to get spicy, I really do enjoy glass dildos. So a lot of people don't really talk about them, but I really enjoy them. They can seem very intimidating or scary, but honestly, the great thing about glass dildos is putting them in the freezer and then putting them inside you, or rubbing them on your clit, or using them.
Girl, you put the dildo next to the stove.
I mean, some people have separate, freezers or refrigerators for certain things. But you can put,
you can freeze it and then, whoa.
For people that love temperature change, and that's something to explore too. Like for people that like something cold or something hot, like you can try different ways to use different toys, right? Or different products. But for me, I really like the change of temperature. So putting this in the freezer and then being able to have it inside me, the contrast is what really arouses me, of like something super cold, hard, different grooves. And then with that, with my body, it's explosive. So, but everybody has different feelings about them, but they have different ones that are just smaller than this. They're smooth. So everybody finds what they feel comfortable with.
Wow, Jenifer, girl, you were so amazing. You were just as amazing in person for us as I see you presenting on social and on those other platforms, girl. You rock. You rock. Major, are you stuck over?
Didi, I'm sorry. Listen. I know you want to rush us off, but I have another question, Jenifer. This is the last question that I got. This question is not about me. Okay. So I need to put that out there first and foremost. This is not an interest of mine. Okay. So it's a 2-part question, right? So Jenifer, the first part is a short answer question. It's closed-ended, so it's a yes or no.
Okay.
Do you believe that sex toys and the sexual revolution, as stated before and as some of the comments say, should be normalized? That we need to begin to normalize such a thing, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if my woman was to say to me, like, let's say my woman never had sex toys and she goes, hey, you know, I want to get a dildo, I should be confident enough as a man to accept that, right? Yes.
Well, I think one of the things that I actually recommend is you may not feel comfortable with a dildo, right? And that's fine. You might not feel comfortable with that as y'all being your first toy. But planning a date night to go to the sex shop can be very fun because they have a lot of the products out. They're usually all charged. So you can touch and feel and pick out what feels comfortable for both of you to start with. And then maybe talk about some things like, you know what, let's try this next time. Or, you know, like build it up to explore different things so that you both find what really makes you feel comfortable. Because a lot of guys don't feel comfortable with dildos or vibrators right out the gate. They want to use something else that is more approachable or safe for them. And your partner should be open and communicative about that as well. You both, the goal is for both of you to be comfortable, but also pleasurable in that experience.
So what happens? So what happens if I get in that sex shop and I want to pick me out a pocket pussy or something of that nature? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, should she be more secure about that?
I mean, again, it's having the conversation. You're being intentional with creating the space to have those conversations.
Okay, so
you know,
both ways. Got you.
Right. And I was like, yeah, I really want to get this. You know, I've been curious about them. You're getting a toy for you, right? Like you might use this when we're not together, and I want to have something to use when we're not together. So you know what I mean? Like having that dialogue and conversation. Maybe she helps you pick it out. You know what I mean? Like, have the conversation and be intentional about the space that you create while having it.
All right. I'm gonna put some of the things you mentioned and the pocket pussy in the description. Excuse my language. I really feel bad for my language. I think my grandmother's on here today.
I'm sorry, Mama.
But yeah, she might have one or two of those though. But yeah, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. It has been a pleasure.
Well, thank you.
Jenifer, tell our audience how they can connect with you, any of your upcoming classes or courses, whether it's virtual or they can come by and see you wherever you are.
Yeah. I actually have been taking a break from doing workshops. I haven't been doing any, but I do get booked sometimes to do private workshops or just like cocktails and conversation nights. So I definitely love doing those. Those are a lot of fun. So you can email me at sextherapistjen@gmail.com if you want to book me for any private workshops. If you're in the DMV area, you certainly can book me. But I'm not opposed to traveling if the coins are right. And then you can also follow me on Instagram at sextherapistjen. And follow my content and participate in some different questions that I throw out to people to see where people's feelings are related to sex.
That's right. Thank you so much, sex therapist Jenifer Smith in the house, baby, giving it to you straight, no chaser.
Absolutely.
You were amazing, and I'm just so grateful for you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad that we could finally connect.
We're going to definitely stay in touch.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, all right. My goodness. What an amazing show.
Introducing the ultimate party upgrade. Capture memories like never before with our 360 experience photo booth package, now at an unbeatable price of just $150. But hurry, this incredible offer won't last forever. Book now and make your event unforgettable. Visit popshotsatl.com today. Details apply.
All of those special moments, check out Pop Shots ATL. Again, shouts out to sex therapist Jen. She was absolutely amazing. I'm sure that you guys learned a lot from her because I know I certainly did. And as I've mentioned to you before, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel because we are bringing you the best content ever. This is the hottest new podcast. It's going down right here on Let's Talk About It. And if you don't have a chance to actually see us, you can hear us with your favorite podcast channel. Wherever you get your favorite podcast, we are there as well. So that's Apple Music, Spotify, all of those wonderful platforms. You can check us out there. iHeartRadio, we are there for you. So make sure that you check us out there as well. Man, what a show. I'm just excited. I'm always excited because I am so honored to have these guests who, you know, these are like major top tier folks that we're bringing to y'all, and a lot of them don't do these lives now. So, you know, I'm just grateful for the hookup and for the fact that they are willing to come and hang out with Major and I.
Yeah, boy. Didi, I'm at to take off because I gotta go do some things. I got to go handle some things. This has been
a different, to that date night spot.
This has been a different kind of episode, Didi, and
yes.
I am.
Yes, go check out that date night spot. She's suggesting.
Yeah,
make sure that you check it out. Yes, and pick up some things.
Get there before they close because I mean, got to get anyway.
That's right. And shouts out to you guys for checking us out today. You know, be sure to follow us on my social media. I'm at DIDISKKY on all of the platforms, and check Major out. Major, tell them where they can follow you.
Usually I'm on at Design by Major on all social media platforms. That's where I do the things that I do so well. Come hang out, come check out some of the other projects that we're working on.
And don't bring that pocket pussy. What'd you call it? A pocket pussy?
Yeah, it's on sale right now. It's $39.99. I may or may not have. I may or may not have seen it on Amazon.
Oh my God.
It can be here by 11 a.m.
Listen, normalizing sexuality, honey. Enjoy the pleasures of life.
I guess so.
Oh my goodness.
Mind is blown.
That your mind is blown. That's right. And don't forget to check out our friends at the Sickle Cell Walk 5K that's happening this Saturday. It's going down on the 23rd. You definitely want to have your face in the place at Briscoe Park. It's from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And all you have to do is scan that QR code right there to find out more information. Thanks to Sean and Kelly for stopping by and giving us all that information. It is, again, guys, Sickle Cell Awareness Month. So be sure to learn all about sickle cell and share it with your family and friends. That's going to do it for our show tonight. We just want you to take care of yourself, self-care, enjoy all the pleasures of life. And before I go, you know what I say, go for your goals, reach for the stars because the sky has no limit. I'm your girl, Didi Skky, and that's going to do it for tonight's show. Have a great one. We'll see you next time.